Hi guys, my name is Karthik and I am from executeautomation.com and welcome to our EA Weekend video series. And today in this EA Weekend, we have Marat and we have Kiran. So if you have really not known about Marat or Kiran, these two people are the one whom we spoke a lot about the test project from almost past 3 years now. And today, after 3 years, a lot of things has been changed in test project, starting from the beta version of test project and now to the version 2.0 of test project. So many things have completely been changed. And especially the test project after the version 2.0, it's going to be like a game changer in terms of bringing up the new feature to the people, like how it can be utilized in an offline mode and how it can be executed cloud platforms. Everything is completely changing, and that's what we'll be discussing in version 2.0. So who is Marat? I'm not going to be talking about that. And who is Kiran? I'm not going to be talking about that as well. But they are pretty famous people at the moment, and a lot of people are really watching a lot of videos about test project. So I'm going to be just moving to Marat to introduce himself instead of me telling about Marat. So Marat, right to you now.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Karthik. So, hi everyone. And perhaps you have seen previous videos and webinars where I've participated and presented the test project and the test project 2.0. I am in charge of developing the test project agent, and I'm also one of the founders of test project. So I've been since 5 years, I guess, since it all has been accepted. And this is basically the biggest change that happened in test project in the past couple of years. Being able to use the hybrid cloud of test project and also being capable of running things offline on premises using the new features that have been introduced in this great and major release.
Cool. Great. So, Kiran, do you want to tell us about you? I mean, you're quite popular in the community anyways.
Well, I'm VP of Marketing at TestProject, and I'm very happy to be here today, and happy that we have been through such a long journey with you as well at EA Weekly and Execute Automation. It's always a pleasure collaborating together and hearing your feedback. And so thank you for having us today.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Marat, for the introduction. Well, the first time when I saw this test projects 2.0, I was very excited, especially because I have been using test project for past 3 years, and we have been talking about it. I still remember like how we started this discussion about test project and how I had some question like if I'm working for a company, I'm working in a company in New Zealand where we are too much restricted with securities that we can't really run some of our tests on test project cloud because they don't believe it if it is not security compliance, or they don't really wanted to put their tests on a third-party cloud like that. And I asked this question and you told me that there is something coming pretty soon and you already have the answer, I guess. And I think that's what we'll be discussing today. So just in a nutshell, today we'll be talking about how you can actually use test project completely offline if your company is something not very comfortable to move your tests to the test project cloud, and how that has been resolved in version 2.0. That's what we'll be discussing mostly, and I'm pretty excited to see on doing that. All right, instead of wasting so much of time, let's jump into test projects app right now, and we'll start discussing about it. So we have this test project already opened, Marat and Kiran. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start creating the project over here. But I see that the whole UI has been visually changed a lot this time compared to, I think, an year before, while we were discussing about the AI feature being launched from the test project. And now the UI looks different. The reporting looks a bit different. We'll probably touch about all of these, but I have some questions while creating the projects, like how it is going to be executing offline and things. I have already installed the agent, the latest agent. Do we need to do something else beyond that to start working with 2.0?
No, actually you don't. And even more, we will see different scenarios in which you don't even have to register the agent. But for now, you're good. Let's just continue further. You have the latest agent running on your Windows local machine. So we should be okay with that.
Cool.
Let's continue.
Thank you. So as I told you that I'm working for a company which we don't really wanted to put our tests on the test project cloud. I don't know, for some reason, but as of now, I'm just going to be behaving like a person who don't really wanted to put any test on the test project cloud, but I wanted to run in offline. I wanted to see how that actually works. So just for example, I can't really bring my company's test over here. I'm just going to be creating a new test this time. I'm going to choose a web test, and I'm going to hit next. I'm going to call this as EA app test. And I'm going to add this as a web app testing company test. I really like this tagging feature because it's easy for me to search now. And
right. It's actually one of the additions that have been added in version 2.0, something that didn't exist in the past. So now, besides tagging it, you can basically then search for these tests and jobs by these tags, and also sort reports of these tests and jobs using these tags. You can even supply these tags using the external API if you're using it, triggering these executions from your own CI or something.
Oh, cool. So we can execute the test based on the tags. Like if I mark this as like a smoke test or regression test, I can just execute it like that?
Yeah, actually you do. And this is your way to distinguish between the different tests and different jobs, for example.
Wow, that's nice. That's great. Nice to know. So I'll then probably use this as a smoke test because this is what I will be doing. All right. And I'm going to hit next. And I need to choose the web application, which is going to be my EA app. So I already have registered that EA app on our platform. And I'm going to start recording it on the cloud.
Hold on,
and there is
just 1 second here. Yeah, that's what I actually wanted to emphasize here. So you were talking about this isolated environment for the company you're currently working on. So the traditional way of doing things until version 2.0 was basically creating tests and then storing them on the test project cloud. But now you've got this new option here for creating the test in a file. So perhaps this is what we want to demonstrate here. And instead of saving this test in the test project cloud, it will be saving it actually in a local file in your file system, which opens lots of other opportunities for interacting with this data later on, because these files are basically textual files, and being textual files, they can be version controlled and so on, etc. So let's go ahead with this option.
Okay, cool. So this way, I'm not going to store any footprints on test project at all, you mean?
Nope. You will be utilizing the platform for creating the automated test. The recorder itself is something that is currently running inside of your browser, but all the proprietary information, such as, for example, your application, which is usually in an isolated environment, is running locally, is not being in any kind of way transferred or exposed to the external and outside worlds.
Oh, that's nice. That's great to know. So I'm going to start recording then. All right. So the application is open right now. But just that, Marat, I have a question regarding the recorder itself. So this time, the recorder, the test project recorder, is actually launching, but it still requires me to actually have an internet connectivity to work with the test project platform itself to record. What if my application is going to be running in my local machine, and if I wanted to do a record, so should I still need to rely on test project cloud to do the recording?
Well, the recording itself is happening inside of your browser, and your browser is running on your computer. And the way it works, it basically interacts with the locally installed agent. So neither your application nor the browser itself or that recorder that's running inside of the browser are currently exposed to the cloud. The only reason why basically you might require a connectivity is the test project is about the way of enhancing Selenium and Appium. And to do that, we have developed lots of add-ons, and the community have contributed lots of add-ons. And these add-ons reside in the test project cloud. So whenever an add-on needs to be downloaded and you would like to use any of its sections, you do require connectivity.
Oh, yes. So basically, if you are using any third-party add-ons, which requires test project support, then definitely we need test projects help by then, and we need internet connectivity. Yeah, so it makes perfect sense that we are going in this direction at the moment. Okay, which is good. Awesome. Thanks for that, Marat. I see that the recorder has changed a lot as well. It has the save button this time. And of course, it has the AI capabilities, which was something we already discussed. And yeah, it was really good. So I will start recording it this time, and I will ask about the save option probably later once we complete this recording. And I'm just going to hit this login. And I'm just going to type admin password as password. It's not a super secure password though. I'll probably type it again. And I'm going to hit login. I'm going to hit employee list. And I'm going to do an edit. Probably change the duration to 25. I hit save. Wow. And I'm going to hit log off. So this is, let's consider that this is the application which is currently running within my local network. It's like a local application. And we have recorded this. And once I save this, so it's generating some YAML file. What is that about, Marat?
Well, this is the format of choice for, I would say, many kinds of flows. Usually it's used for CIs, and we have chosen this for the automation representation. It's a textual format and allows you to define different things, like, for example, the project name where the test has been created. You were the creator, so you see the owner here. And it also includes a list of tests. Particularly in this case, it's a single test and doesn't have any nested tests and nor recovery tests. You probably won't see any auxiliary tests here. But what we're seeing here is basically the test that you have just recorded, along with its information, such as, for example, what was the application on line 28. And this is the URL of the application that you've been using. This is your way, by the way, to change it. So if you have different environments, let's say like development, preview, production things, you can parameterize this, and you can then just input these values from an external source. And the most important part is basically the steps. So even in this format, you can now go ahead and change anything you want about this test manually without even opening the recorder at all. Things like the parameters we've mentioned, even the element locators, if you scroll just a little bit further, you'll see that all the elements that have been used in this test, a bit further, more, it's probably somewhere at the very bottom. You can change the locator. So if you want to, it's right here. Yeah, so if you want to maintain this, you can do it right out of this text file. You don't have to open the platform. You don't have to open the recorder any further. You can do it in a one centralized place, which is basically this file. And then you can use this file to execute this test using some new component that has been introduced in version 2.0 called the CLI.
Oh, great. So basically this is the file that we can, so now what's happening is it's not even storing any of our records or data on the test project. It's just going to be offline for us so that we can just keep recording it and we can use it for our purpose over here. Awesome. That is great. So we can use this versioning controls and everything on this one, right, Marat? Like we can.
Yes, absolutely. Being a textual file, it's something that is well formatted, and source controls such as the SVN or Git, for example, they can work really nicely with these YAML formats. And this basically allows you to create versions of your tests. Sure.
Wow, nice. And I also noted that there is an option called as driver type as Chrome. So is it possible that I can change this to different browsers, like a comma separated value, like Firefox, Opera, like that?
For sure, but the way to do that is basically not by changing the driver type that was used to create the test, but further on, when you are going to execute it, you will have a variety of options of how to override this setting here, either by specifying them as an arguments to the command line interface, or even by providing an external settings file that can be common for multiple tests, for example, where you will have an option to specify what are the browsers that you want the test to get executed on.
Oh, great. Looks like we have the whole overall verbose control here, like sleep timeout change and screenshot change options, everything coming in over here, just one single file. And how do we import this file to our test? If I change anything, can I just import it to the platform sometime, or should I directly use the CI platform to do that?
Yes, you definitely can continue editing the same test being stored in your file system. That's the point of the whole thing here. But you have to close the recorder now.
Yep.
So that we can demonstrate how it looks like. Okay. And then instead of creating a new test or selecting a test which is stored in the cloud, you have the open file option there at the top.
Open file. All right.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you can just either select it from your file system, or you can drag the file here.
Okay.
Right. And then you hit the open button. Now,
So nice.
Instead of opening a test from the cloud, it's basically opening the same test from a local file. So it never was stored in the cloud, and you can continue editing it again locally without the need to expose any of the automation information to the TestProject cloud. Okay?
Wow,
so
nice.
when you see the same test here, and if you play this test, it should behave nicely as if it would be stored in the cloud, but this time it's actually coming from a local file.
Wow. So it's not even storing any of our tests so far directly on the cloud system itself. It's storing everything on the offline, and I don't even see that particular test being stored on my test project over here, which I created. It's just stored on my file, is it?
Yes, you are absolutely right. It's not here because, as we said, it's not in the cloud. It's on your local file system, perhaps in a source control.
That's nice. Oh, so you're saying the source control most of the time. I just keep hearing that. And so what is that source control? I also saw that there is a plan of bringing source control within TestProject. I mean, I don't want to really disturb that revealing option that you have pretty soon, but I just wanted to know what is that source control that you're going to bring in the TestProject.
Sure. So you've mentioned before that basically, and I did, that you can change these file contents. And for example, you can change a locator for a specific element because something changes in your application, right? But in many cases, you also want to make sure that you can go back to the previous definition in case you want to check for regressions or any other types of tests that you would like to do. And one of the greatest features of textual files is that basically you can keep a history of all the changes you've ever done. So it's very easy and convenient going back to the previous version that existed somewhere in the past. And
that's nice.
Having a textual file in your file system allows you basically to store them in a folder, which is version controlled by such tools such as Git or SVN and others, and easily to switch between these different versions of the same file. So you can always go back to the previous definitions of things, previous order of steps, previous steps, because maybe some step is no longer necessary or it needs to be changed, and so on, etc. And as you mentioned, in the future, we'll also have a built-in integration with Git that will allow basically you to store the tests in an external data source and load them from an external data source and not only from your local file system.
Wow, that'll be fascinating actually, because I could see that there are so many things we have the ability to change here. Like TestProject has already given like all the options to change everything, like nuts and bolts of our test. But if somebody changes in my team, then I wanted to know like what's really happening with the test. If I wanted to go back to my previous working state, probably. So this option, like what you're telling, it's going to be fascinating. And we don't even have to rely on like a third-party Git option and this history and reverting back so quickly and switching back to the previous state will be really awesome. Wow, thanks, Marat. Thanks for that insight. Sorry, I just revealed it even before it was launched, but it's good to know for the community though.
Yes, sure. We basically was already announced that when we had the webinar 2.0, just didn't emphasize enough.
Yes, cool. So now that I have actually created the tags while I was creating those tests on my test generation. So where can I see those tags, just out of curiosity?
If you hit Control F, I believe that you will see them somewhere here.
Oh yeah, here on the tags.
Okay. Yeah.
All
So
right.
it's LDL.
Cool. So we can just search based on the tags and then we can find all the tests. Okay, cool. Awesome. So these are really cool for the automation testers who are coming from the Selenium background or from the Cypress or any other testing tools background. They can easily start using it. And they can use this test project pretty much. To me, it looks like we can use it like a recorder, and we can use all the advanced capability, not just on the cloud, but now it has opened the door to use the open SDK to our own libraries at the same time, our own recorder, our own on-prem options of executing the test. It's really good to see the test project is going at really great, which is not available in most of the tools I have seen so far in the market. Which is quite good.
Thanks.
Cool. So what is the next option, Marat? What I do, as I have seen this open file option, what is the other option that we can do with this recorder test? Or can I just use my existing test, which I created like 5 months before the AI test? Can I just try to do something out of the new
yes,
features?
for sure. Now you should see this new save as a file option available in this context menu. And using it, you can basically create this test as a textual file, as we've seen before. So before actually hitting this checkbox here, can you just really quickly?
Oh, checkbox? Yeah.
No, the save button.
Just a save button. All right.
Yep. So we'll see a YAML file being generated and downloaded onto your computer. This is the same structure as we have seen before. That also represents the test you have created 5 months ago. So whoever already works with the TestProject platform can now utilize these new capabilities for all of his or her existing tests. No need to recreate them or something like this. So we can all see that this test has been created somewhere back in September 2020. And if we head back to the TestProject UI, the other thing that does it look familiar?
That's nice. So even the older test that we have on the platform is also backward compatible at the moment, which is cool.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome. So what about the artificial intelligence capability of the recorder test? So will that be taken care if I run them in offline?
Absolutely, because the unit that performs the execution, which is the TestProject Agent, is still the same unit. And all the heavy lifting is done by the agent, and he continues doing so even for the execution files and even in an offline mode.
Cool. So we get the AI feature for free, offline feature for free within our own local machine, which is pretty good. I probably use this cheat option to use within my companies nowadays. All right. So what I'm going to do is like I'm going to use some add-ons, and I wanted to see like how it actually works, but I'm not going to choose the mobile this time. I'm just going to use the same web option. And we will see how we can test. So do you have any website in mind, Mark, to use?
We can use the TestProject example website this time for the clarity of things.
Website. All right. So I'm going to say TestProject, and I'm going to hit next. I want to add this new application for testing. It's TestProject demo app. And where can I find this URL of the test project?
It's example.testproject.io.
Okay, I'm going to use this for our test. I'm going to hit done. I'm going to hit next, and I will record this time. And I'm going to record this time on the cloud instead of doing it in the file. We already saw that. So I'm just going to start recording.
By the way, you can now see the tag that you have created, the TestProject tag. You can see it in the top right corner of the test. Yeah.
Which is quite good. It's really sleek. Can I search? What are the things which I can do with this test project? So if I click this, or can I search using this tag?
For sure. Yeah, give it a try.
Wow.
Here
okay. Yeah. That's cool. All right. So we have this recorder opened up as well. And what name do you want me to do? Any name? What?
You can use your own.
All
Of
right.
course, these values can be parameterized, and we'll probably want to demonstrate how this can be done. Just use the default password here so that the login form will actually work.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay,
definitely this parameterizations and everything is already that we have discussed a lot in test project in our exit automation as well as in the test projects. A lot of article. Let's not talk about that. But I want to fully focus on the cloud.
But actually, cloud. I do want to emphasize a little tiny thing which is important here, that whenever you export these tests into files, you then can download a bundle, and inside of this bundle, you will have a CSV file where you can basically provide the external parameters and make the execution data-driven using an external data source that is not uploaded to TestProject and is local for your execution bundle, or I don't know, inside of the bundle, outside of the bundle, and so on.
So it can be, so we can even parameterize, I mean, export the parameterized data, and then we can change the data that you are saying, is it?
Yeah. So it's a good idea now to, whenever you stop recording this test, to actually change the hard-coded values to some parameters so that we can do it.
Cool. So let's do that as well. So I'm going to change the country to probably, I don't know, New Zealand appears. Okay, it's there. For Pemberton venue. No, this is not my right address though. So Kartik, techgeek.co.in. Just give some random number, and I'm just gonna hit save. Cool. All right, and I'm just gonna hit log out. It's recorded now.
Yeah.
So
now it might be a good idea to actually change one of the values here. Let's say the name that you type in step number 3, and instead of it, put here a parameter so that we can demonstrate how the exported tests can be parameterized using external data source, or maybe even executed as a data-driven test.
Yep, sure. Let's do that.
You want to delete this value here.
Yep.
And then click
I'm
on
going
the
to use this parameter. Yep.
Create a new one. Let's stay with the test scope.
Okay.
Yep. Just create a name. Let's say name or something. Username. Yeah. You can set default value to be Kartik. That's fine.
So let's say I'm going to use John, something like that. Oh, I can make secret as well if I wanted to, which is great.
No. Let's not.
Not for the username, definitely.
Not because of that. It's just that whenever you export it into a file, it does not export it as a secret, because it's already on premises. So there's no point of doing that, and it just will eventually confuse people.
Yes, true.
Okay, so we just use the default value of John, and then you can click on this username parameter here, and it's being populated in the field there, and then you can click on the field itself to make this pop-up go away, and then just save the step.
Cool. So I can keep adding all these parameters, and these parameters are going to be generated for me in terms of, I mean, once I export this particular test, it is automatically going to generate it for me as well. That's what you're saying, Marat?
Yes, absolutely. Let's demonstrate how it will look like. Yeah.
Okay. So I will close this test. And there you go. We have this test already. I'm not going to run this test in my in the test project now, but I just wanted to see how it is going to look like if we save the file.
Yeah, this time let's choose this download as a test package option, which will present additional interesting information, such as, for example, what are the browsers that you would like this test to get executed on, or even browsers inside of mobile devices. So let's say if you have an iOS or an Android device, you can basically create a setting that will allow you executing it either on your Android physical devices, iOS devices, or Android emulators or iOS simulators. So all of the devices or simulators and emulators that were ever connected to your account appear here and can be generated as the execution targets. Of course, you have to make sure before the execution they are connected so that the execution will take
Yep.
place.
I also noted that it's super intelligent, that it's bringing all my Mac OS devices like simulators, which is detected by the other test agent, which is running in my account on TestProject, and it's just bringing all the emulators which is running on my Windows as well as on the Mac, which is quite good. So probably I'm not going to choose that this time. I just wanted to run on the Chrome browser. And probably on the Firefox browser, just on 2 browsers. And do you have any other options you want me to do, Marat?
No, it's fine. That's fine. Let's stay with this
Okay.
selection here.
Cool.
And this time you can notice that instead of a YAML file being generated, it's actually a zip file.
Oh, yes. So it's like a whole test project. The whole project which we have created is coming up over here, which is interesting.
Yeah, so if we peek into the contents of this archive.
Yep.
Okay,
okay.
Cool. So
I'll just open the VS Code to see the contents pretty clearly here, one by one. There you go.
Great. So the package YAML is basically the test. It just named that form because the name of the zip file was basically the name of the test, and it's always named as package YAML inside of the zip file, so that the CLI tool can distinguish which one is the test.
Okay.
And then we have other files which are quite interesting. Let's say the settings YAML. As you remember, you have chosen the Chrome and the Firefox execution targets. So they're here. You can, of course, go ahead and edit, add more, or edit this list, adding others, such as, for example, Safari or Internet Explorer, whatever you like.
So if I want to add Edge browser here, I can do that as well here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And another interesting part is that we have the test parameters CSV file. Okay. And as you can see, if you remember, we have added the username parameter here, which is John by default. But you can either override it, or you can add more lines here with other values instead of John, for example.
Oh, I'm going to add Marat. And of course, I want to add Karen to the party this time. Yeah.
Thanks. And this will basically allow you to execute the same test with different values, making it a data-driven execution, something that will be, of course, reflected in the automation itself and in the final reports.
Wow. That is super easy, actually. We're just doing everything in just one single place offline. And wow, that's really a good option as well.
The most important part here is that even your data that is used for the parameterization and usually contains elements such as passwords and other things is not exposed to the cloud anymore. It's something that is residing locally, and you can either save it as part of your test bundle inside of the zip package, or you can specify an external settings file with all your credentials, for example, whenever you are executing this test using the CLI.
Cool. So we're talking about the CLI. What is this CLI? Test project CLI, and I've seen this demo, and you told about that. So where can I find this CLI? Is that a separate installation that we need to do on that?
Absolutely not. It's actually part of the TestProject Agent installation. As we promised, the TestProject Agent is a simple one-stop shop that actually installs everything you need and does all the heavy lifting. So whenever you open your command prompt or PowerShell or any other shell like terminal, you can start typing TestProject-agent.
TestProject agent.
Yep.
Like that.
And hit enter. And this will present you with the CLI how to use instructions.
Oh, nice. Okay. So it brings me up all the options here, like start the agent, connect to an agent and print its versions, register browsers. So it's going to show me all the browsers as well. So it's saying like all my browsers just installed in my machine.
Yeah, it's very useful actually in the case of different CI pipelines, because you don't necessarily know what are the targets that you can use.
Okay, cool. Actually, I really like this option to show the test project of all the browsers, because um, every time while I try to work, if I'm not using the WebDriver manager in the Selenium, I need to download some of the browsers driver, like Chrome driver or Edge driver. If I'm not using test project, for example, then I used to open all the browsers, and then I check the versions, because it keep updating automatically. Sometimes we don't even know what versions we are using. But this option, it shows me all the browsers, and it also shows the versions. So it's like a nice little tool which gives even more verbose option. So I think this is really good to see everything in one place. And also this devices option. I don't really have any emulator or device connected to my machine at the moment, but it looks like it's going to show me all the devices connected in my machine as well. All right.
Yes, you're absolutely right. And not even that, not only that, it can also display a list of the applications installed on each of these devices, so that you can know basically if you can execute the tester, or you have to use some APK, let's say, whenever you want to install it. So just like a general note here, whenever you are creating a mobile test, upload an APK or an IPA file for this test to TestProject, and then you export this test into a bundle. The IPA and the IPK are also exported into the bundle, so that next time whenever you are executing this on a device that doesn't have this application installed, it will get installed on the same version what this test has been created for.
So even that application that we used in test project recording is going to be exported. That's what you're saying. Wow, that's really nice as well. So because most of the times we end up, while we do the testing, we have different builds we just test on the on a particular versions in our test, and we don't even know. We'll always end up like searching for the exact build that where the failure has happened. But this way, it also gives us an ability to show like which test has got failed in which build. So I think that's a really handy option. Yeah, it's really cool as well. So do you have any options, any idea to store those bundles in the source control that you're releasing like that? All right.
I have no idea. Let's cut this out. It's a problem to store, zipped archives that are not textual, so it will be an issue with versions. You can do that, but you don't get much out of it.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot of storage though. At the same time. Yeah, it makes sense. But I just wanted to be too much cheeky about getting everything for free. So,
no, you can do that. It's not that like it's not supposed to cost any money or something, but it doesn't make any sense yet.
Cool, awesome, wow.
But I really like the matter of fact.
Yeah. I really like the matter of fact that every time I connect the emulator or any of my devices, TestProject is like on the time. It connects that particular device so quickly, which is quite interesting. Cool. So do you want me to run that command, like devices?
Yes, go ahead and let's just run this devices. And then devices is like a nested command. So you have to add devices list to get a list of device, because you also can get a list of applications on the device.
Okay.
And this should provide you with the information you're seeking for.
Oh, wow. That is nice. So I can get the list of devices which is attached to my machine, which is talking to the agent. And also, can I get the list of apps?
Yeah, you can actually add apps here and then hit enter. It will present an usage help on how to do this. And what you have to do, you have to specify a -- device equals the UDID of the device that we want to get the list of apps from, which would be the emulator
this one?
minus. Yeah.
Okay, I just copied from where I grabbed already. Okay.
Might take some time, because basically what it does now, it queries the device and yeah.
No, it was actually quite faster, which is quite good. Oh, wow.
Right, because this is a quite empty emulator, but in theory,
while we have a lot of applications, it may be a bit slower, which is making sense.
Yeah.
All right, Marat. So that we have seen like how we can use this TestProject agent, like how we can actually use these devices and stuff. So now we have downloaded our test from the TestProject agent, from the TestProject cloud, and we modified the test over here with the parameters. Now I wanted to execute this test. So how do I execute this test on the terminal, like on the CLI? Is there any option to do that?
Absolutely. So the command that you have to type here is the TestProject Agent, as we did before. And now use the run command.
Okay.
And then you have to specify the path to the file that you are going to execute. Since the file is basically a bunch of files, we want to zip them all together.
Cool. Oh, so you want me to make this like a single file so that it can execute all the files along with the settings, parameters, and the package.yaml file. Okay, makes sense. So let me zip them up all over here. All right. So I'm not worried about the names and stuff, right? So we can just execute this.
No, it doesn't matter. Actually, the name is taken from the test itself. So it's absolutely up to you how to call the zip files. And then just drag and drop it into the PowerShell, hoping that it will just copy the...
I think I will copy the path over here.
Yeah.
I'll paste it over here. Okay.
And then
I'm going to execute it. Oh, cool. So now it is executing my test on my local Chrome of my machine. I see here, and it's running the John, which is good. So this is the parameter, which, I mean, this was the parameter already there. So I'm not worried about it, but I'm expecting Marat. Oh, there you go. Cool.
Yeah, it actually runs the same test with 3 different values because these were the 3 different lines inside of the CSV file. And what you're going to see by the end of this execution is that
you have a nice little surprise.
We will see in a moment the report.
Oh, so it's running the Firefox test as well.
Yeah.
Nice. Actually, I heard you something that you said we're going to have a report as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say that once it's all done, we will have a local report that is not uploaded into the cloud so that you can, again, leave all the valuable and intellectual properties on premises. And in this local HTML report that is going to be generated by the end of this execution, we will basically see 3 executions with different values that have been used for the username field.
Nice. Okay.
Okay,
oh, wow. So I don't even have to go to the sorry to cut you through, Marit. So I don't even have to go through that to the TestProject portal for seeing my report, you're saying?
Absolutely. It's all on your local file system.
Wow, that's nice. Let me do that. There you go.
Yeah, so as I've said before, there are 3 tests, basically the same test, but every time a test is executed with a different value, and there are 2 targets. There is the Chrome target and the Firefox target.
Firefox target. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can maybe stop at one of these executions, and you can basically see that whenever you are typing the name, it basically says Karen, Murat, and others.
Yes. Yeah. It just shows all the key values as well. And it's pretty detailed. Really, really nice to see this whole report, even without going to the TestProject platform. It is showing us directly on our local machine. Just quite good. Thanks for that, team. It is really nice. I can now feel that I don't even have to use my own Selenium grid to do that. It's like TestProject Agent is already doing it for me. And you also told in the introduction that hybrid cloud. So is this the hybrid cloud, or is there more than this that we have beyond the hybrid cloud?
I would probably categorize this as an evolution of the hybrid cloud, because hybrid cloud is something that TestProject had until so far. We had the cloud on one hand, where all the artifacts were stored, and the platform that allowed creating these artifacts, the tests or the jobs. And on the other hand, we had the TestProject Agent that was the engine that does all the heavy lifting for installing all the things, recognizing all the devices and browsers and drivers and other things that are required for the automation, but basically allowed you to create an automation on your local premises for your local applications and local devices. And on top of all of this, on this something that is defined as a hybrid cloud, we added an additional layer now called the offline mode that allows you to execute the same artifacts that until so far were created and stored in the cloud, but this time they are shifting into the on-premises location, such as your file system and your source control.
What do you mean offline? So you mean I'm going to completely disconnect from the test project itself, test project platform itself, and I'm going to run my own test project agent, which is installed in the machine?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Not only the agent as it was until so far, but even if you don't register your agent, or your agent is not capable of communicating with the test project cloud, you can still run these offline packages or offline tests, even when you have no connectivity at all. So in an isolated environment, let's say a lab that is not connected to the internet, having the test project agent and having these bundles on premises will allow you to execute these tests even when there is no connectivity to the outside world or the test project cloud at all.
Wow, I'm pretty excited to see this as well. So, so this agent is currently connected within my machine over here. So let's say if I want to just deregister or unregister, sorry, I cannot show in my screen over here because it's sitting in my different screen. So I'm just going to hit this unregister. So it's saying agent shutting down, and this is ready at the moment. And you can see that it's disconnected.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's
so
actually no longer communicating with the test project cloud at all.
Oh, nice. So you can see that the test project. Oh, super. So now everything is disconnected. I don't have any connection with the test project platform at all. So I'm not going to send you any data at all. So can I run this test now, the same test which I was executing before?
Yeah, go ahead and give it a try.
Huh, really? Okay. Oh, nice. It's still opening the browser for me over here. And isn't it running from the test agent, which is running within my machine? Wow.
It actually is. Yeah, as we said, the agent is still fulfilling its purpose of driving and performing the automation. However, it no longer needs the cloud because all the information about the actual test is currently located in this offline file that you have created and exported from the cloud.
Wow.
And as we said before, it can be even done in an isolated environment that has no connectivity at all.
Nice. Sorry, I know that the time is just running out, but just the time awareness, I'm just asking one final question on this discussion because I know that we have discussed a lot about the hybrid clouds, but if I'm a person who now I could see that it's completely disconnected from the test project platform and I'm using the test project agent, is there a chance that I can really misuse, or probably not misuse, maybe, yeah. I'm just going to use test project agent within my machine, and I'm going to run the whole test without even communicating with the test project cloud. And I'm going to use it with like a driver, web driver manager of Selenium, and I can run all the browsers because I don't have to install any browser driver like Chrome drivers or Edge Chrome driver. Everything is available in the test project agent, and also the devices is available on the test project agent. Everything is sitting out here, so I can use it for that particular trick. Like, what benefit does it brings to test project by giving everything for free? What is the motive behind it?
I believe it's the same as providing the online capabilities. TestProject is, after all, a free tool, right? So there's no difference between providing these capabilities whenever the agent is online and communicating with the cloud, or whenever it's offline. So it's absolutely up to you to decide what works for you for your automation needs, right? There's absolutely no difference for us how you are going to use TestProject.
Wow, that's really nice. I think I really like that all this discussion that we have. There is like, I have not touched just one time. I intentionally created the test on the platform, but it's all offline now. I mean, I don't even have to have a internet connectivity every time to run my test, and I can really tell this to my companies that who have security as a concern. They could probably use start using TestProject directly now, because there is no way we are passing any sensitive information. And I could see that there is no footprint at all in the TestProject cloud, which is quite good. I'm pretty excited. So this. I think this is not it is like a hybrid cloud, but I could also see that the excitement is about the future roadmap that you have shown us on the Git integration. And is there any other future thing which is coming up? So because there is a lot of cry from the community asking, how can I run this Chrome and Firefox test in parallel? Can I do that? Because that's something which it took some time for us to execute this test. Can I just run them in parallel? Is it something coming up? Sorry, the final question probably.
That's actually the next big leap for the test project, allowing this parallel execution and then executing the same tests and jobs on different targets at once,
Cool.
simultaneously. So
Wow.
yeah, it's indeed in our pipeline. It's coming really, really soon, somewhere by the end of April. And
Oh, wow. Just 1 month away now. Okay. That's cool. I mean, I'm pretty excited to see everything which is coming up, and the roadmap looks pretty exciting as well. So if we could able to run in different environments and in parallel, which will be awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Marat, and thank you so much, Kiran, for your time joining for this whole discussion. Just for the interest of time, we're just finding up. We can probably talk again about all the new features just coming up. But I've seen that this is absolutely an amazing thing for the community to run everything offline and making our tests to be available within our machines. And this is really cool. I mean, this is the future of any test automation, which is also doing like a platform as a service, whereas running everything on your local machine. So it's completely hybrid, which is awesome. Thank you so much, Marat and Karen. Thank you so much for walking us down through everything, like whatever you have invented, which is really cool. And probably next time while we release this new features on this project, we'll again get together to talk about this while you have time. And I know that this time you have put so much of time aside for having this discussion. Thank you so much for that. And again, let's meet again in future.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you, Marat.